ready to go.
Okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Today we're working on this little Husqvarna blower. Now, I was told that it kind of runs, and I've fooled with it a little bit. I put some fuel in, and I kind of can't get it to run with just putting fuel in it. So we're going to go ahead and do something different this time and rebuild the carburetor rather than replace it. Now, if you've got no experience and you just want to get yours running real easy, go on Amazon, match up the carburetor, and just buy a new one, put it on, and you'll probably be fine. It'll probably run great. But for the more adventurous types, we're going to go ahead and rebuild this carburetor, and so you can see what's inside it and the steps it takes to get them running again. And for all you new people out there, go ahead and subscribe and hit the like button and the notification bell. It's free and we appreciate it. So let's get started. Okay, if you've got one of these little Husqvarnas, they're a little more entertaining than some others. Some of these you have to take the case apart to get the carburetor off, and I believe this is one of them. Let's go ahead and take the carburetor off, or at least pull the air box out of the way. Let's save the nuts so we don't lose them. There you go. Let me bring you down just a little bit. There you go. So yeah, you can see our linkage has got us trapped on this one. Not much we can do about that. Even if we go clear to the end, I don't think she'll come off. I'll tell you what, she's pretty close. Sometimes you can pull it off. But in any case, to get it back on, we're going to have it apart. Let's go ahead and do that. And now I'm looking for the magic Allen key. Oh, good guess, good guess. So now we'll pull the case apart. Can you see this? Sort of. Let's scoot you around over here a little and carry you up a little. There you go. I'll tell you, if you don't have a screw gun, you'll want one when you're doing this. There's a whole lot to take apart to get this one. And make a mental note that the screws are different from one to the next. The ones holding these on are threaded, and these are standard screws that are holding the case together. Usually that implies that these are going straight into the aluminum of the block. Okay, let's see if we've got any screws underneath still holding us together. Nope, doesn't look that way. That should do it. Maybe. And there we go. Thing's more than happy to come apart now. And now we can reach this. We can pull the trigger off, which allows us to undo the linkage on the carburetor. Okay, come on, buddy. There we go. And you can see it looks intimidating when you first start, but if you know where you're going with it, it's pretty easy. And make sure you take pictures as you go, because the way this goes together, isn't going to be obvious when you're putting it back together. So just for reference, what we're going to do is we're going to hook that back on, and we're going to leave the trigger right in her little spot. We're going to let it sit here. That way we won't lose track of where it goes. So back to the carburetor. Now remember, loosen the gas cap because there may be pressure inside, and when you remove gas lines, the gas will flow back at you. In this case, there isn't much in the way of fuel in it anymore. I've already pulled it all out. And we're down to our carburetor. So let's go ahead and pull her apart and see what we've got. I'll get this out of the way. Now, I strongly suggest if you're going to do something like this, consider investing in an ultrasonic cleaner, because it will save you a whole lot, whole lot of effort in the long run. Because you can use the ultrasonic cleaner to clean all the little passages inside here. And you're about to see it's got a couple of them. Well, that won't work. All I'm going to do is tear things up with that bit. Let's go with a fatter one. There's one. Okay. Now we're going to pull the metering diaphragm off and see what she looks like. And she looks like she's stuck right now. And make a note, this is another good time to take a picture. So it's like you've got this, has to go on a specific way. Now, you can't put this on upside down really. There's just no way to fit it. But it'll still soothe your mind as you go. Now I've got a little gasket on this side also that we want to take a look at. And this gasket helps control your fuel flow. You see this? If you look closely, you can see a little bulge in it right here. That tells you that this is ready to be replaced. So we're going to go ahead and grab a kit for this one and get the body and the ultrasonic cleaning up. And then we'll put her back together. Okay, let go. That is, if this fuel line wants to let go. These fuel lines are definitely shot. You can feel it's very gummy. You can see even with my fingernail, it pulls apart. That means it's time for fuel lines. And again, if you don't have all the tools and all the extra fuel lines and whatnot, that's why I suggest just buying a carburetor. You know, buy a carburetor with the kit, with the fuel lines and filters and everything, and you're just done and done. You don't have to worry about any of this part. The little filter here is just piled up with stuff. That's part of the reason she wasn't running right there. But the diaphragms and the gaskets don't look good either. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the bath, and then as soon as it's done, we'll be back and we'll put her all back together. See, I've got a handy little ultrasonic here that we put them in. And we make sure the basket's on its rails. And we just drop the whole thing in. This is the one I like. And you can see it's going to run up to 60 Celsius, which is right around 140, 141 degrees. And it will warm up really fast once we hit that button. So we're going to let it sit for 20 minutes and we'll be back. Okay, now that we've got that part done with, let's get her back together. So the first thing we'll do is I've already separated my little kit. These little kits come with a couple of different carburetors choices. And this is the appropriate one for this particular carburetor. So we're going to go ahead and pull that off. And take a look at her. Make sure we like everything. And place our new gasket. Whoops. Almost upside down. Nice part about this particular carburetor is it's really hard to make a mistake. You can see our original gasket's all deformed and out of plate shape and everything. It's pretty old. I'd be surprised if this thing ran at all. If it did run, it ran badly probably. Okay, so let's put her back together. Real nice and lickety split. And if you took pictures when you were taking it apart, putting her back together is going to be pretty easy. Get our screws in place. Every carburetor is just a little bit different, but the principle is very much the same on every single one of them. These are what they refer to as diaphragm carburetors. The difference between this and a regular lawnmower carburetor, like this one, is this one has to be in this position to run because you've got a bowl with a fluid level. Where this one can run at any angle. There's no real top on one of these. Yep, wipe out. Okay, if we look at our metering diaphragm, it looks pretty pitiful. But our new one, not so much. Our new one looks nice. So we're going to set these up on this plate. like so. Then we'll place our gasket on top, like so, and then make sure our holes are lined up nicely. And then place her on the carburetor and bolt her down second. Yours may have 4 screws on the base plate here. I'm going to put this one a little bit snug, just to hold it all still. And for this particular carburetor, it should be in good shape now. We've cleaned it all out. And off camera, I blew out all the passages with an air compressor. We checked to make sure that our screen was clear, and it is. So now that's ready to go. And the rest of this kit, I'm going to push off to the side because I'm going to mark it as partially used. And now we move over to the fuel lines. On this bad boy, since we've already got it apart, this is a good time to do fuel lines. There we go. We got a shiny new primer bulb for it. Excuse me. I'll go ahead and pop it out. Now, these things, usually you can just push them through, like so. Yeah, sometimes. There it goes. Now she's letting go. We'll pop our new one in place. And that's about it for the primer bulb. Now we're going to go inside the tank and pull some new lines into her. So let's get the old lines out of the way. Okay, I'm playing fishing for fuel lines here, and I actually am grabbing the fuel lines. And then when I grab them, they're falling apart on me. I'm going to grab these and see if I can grab them a little bit more gently. And you can see these fuel lines are pitiful. Another reason this thing probably wouldn't want to run. That's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and drain all the gas out of this. Let's push our old fuel lines through the holes. We're going to have a little bit in the gas. We might as well have all of it in the gas, right? There's one. You can see I'm just basically pushing the fuel lines into the tank because we're going to drain the tank into a garbage gas. Okay, so let's collect all our old fuel lines right here. On a 1 to 10 scale, I'm going to give that a 0. Never seems to fail, though, on one of these. Seems like we always need new fuel lines. So what we're going to do is find one of our favorite filters and go ahead and put it on the line. We do the fuel lines. There you go. We're going to taper this end, like so. And every video you watch that says, here's the easiest way to do the fuel lines. And guess what? I'm going to say the same thing. This is the easiest way to do the fuel lines. If you don't have the tool, this little wire tool, then go get one. They're only a couple of dollars, which is way cheaper than the price of a new blower, so it's by far worth the money. But that's pulling through nice and tight. That feels good. Now we're going to make sure our filter is situated at the very bottom of the tank, which if you look inside the little hole, you can see it is. So we're pretty happy with that setup. Now this line, which goes to the filter, goes straight to the carburetor. Let's cut the end, and we'll leave her off to the side, and we'll grab another one, which is going to be the return line. This will be our return line. Now notice we're not putting anything on the end of this one. This is just dead ends into the tank towards the top. So, la la la. In we go again. Up, are we coming? Nope, we missed that time. Well, let's make a better taper. Let's taper it like so. And you pull it back through. And there it goes. Now with this one, we only need it to be inside the tank. It doesn't have to be below fuel level or anything. So we've got it set so it's about here. We don't want it to be so short that it easily pulls out. Okay, sorry about that. The phone rang and it was excitable, so let's get this carburetor back on. So on this solid block here, opposite the metering diaphragm, we're going to put our fuel line. And we'll show you this before we put her all back together. And then on the other side, we're going to put this little short piece that I made during my little break. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there's an air show going on outside because we live next to Alliance Airport, and they're making all sorts of racket. So now on this, we're going to put this one on the short end of the primer bulb. That's the end of the primer bulb that sucks in. And this other one that goes to the tank, we're going to put on the long end of the primer bulb. I might have to disassemble that. But now if you watch when we pump the gas, see it's pulling it in and pushing it back through the other line. Now you can't flood your motor like this. You could pump this like this all day long. You could pump it till you get bored and you're fine. Let's see if we can put this back together without taking those lines off. Maybe, maybe not. And that noise you hear would be an F-16 going sideways over the house right now. Not much I can do about that. I think if they make just a little bit more noise, I might have to make them part of the video. Go outside and film them some. Oh, oh, oh. We lost a line. I was tugging and pulling on them. So now the lines we just did, I'm going to make sure they're on nice and snug so we don't lose them later. That one's tight. Check the bottom one. It's nice and tight. Let's check our system, make sure she's pumping right. And everything looks pretty good. Very nice. Now we'll bolt the carburetor down because the camera's in the way. But if I come on this side, I can. It doesn't make me more coordinated, but I can see. Okay. And that one went straight on nice and smooth. And that one fell off. There we go. Okay, now we've got our nuts semi-snug. Snug them up a little bit. There we go. We'll check our system, make sure our fuel's flowing the way we expect it to, and it is. Okay, with that done, let's get our covers back in place. These can be a little arbitrary to put on some of these. But as a rule, they're not bad. Okay. And you notice we had to play with our trigger to get it on. And remember, if you're pushing hard, you're doing it wrong. Everything will click right back into place when you got it in just the right place. Okay, I can feel the linkage try to engage. Whoops. I can feel the side cover fall directly off. There we go. And notice I pulled the cord a little bit. It lets things line up. Okay, we're going to start that one screw just a tiny bit. We're going to switch back off to our Allen bit. Okay, now let's switch back off to our Allen bit and get her together. And note I didn't go too terribly tight on this one, because if you tighten one too much on a plastic case, the rest of it will fall out of alignment and you won't be able to tighten anything. You won't be able to get the thread started. Okay, we got a little bit of fuel in her. I had to put some fuel in so I could show you the functionality. You scoot out of the way and you go here. You go here. You go here. Now we can safely tighten them. And that should just about do it. Okay. We know she primes. I'll turn that off. Put her on full choke. Yep, full choke is this way. Now let's see if she'll start. Yep, she tried to start. Now we don't know now if she's cold or if she needs an adjustment. It feels like she needs an adjustment, but she hasn't run for quite a while. The high end is definitely good. But this could have been adjusted with bad parts inside the carburetor. Let's give her a little bit of a touch. Okay, let me find the right screwdriver for that one. I've got two that I keep right here on the bench because they're the ones I use the most. Oh, no, that is the right one. So let's start her back up and give her an adjustment. And I'm giving her a little bit more fuel on the low side. Okay, that feels pretty good. She idles nice and low. So the only thing left is air filter, which we're going to go ahead and replace the air filter and the air box. So that one runs like a charm. So if you feel brave, that's one way to go. Now you can always buy the kit with the carburetor and the air filter and the fuel lines and even that little wire tool to pull fuel lines through on Amazon. You'll get the kit for $20, $22 and it has everything you need, and you just throw the carburetor on, make sure you match the fuel lines the way they were when you took it apart, and you're done. But if you feel brave, get an ultrasonic cleaner. Don't bother with carb spray. It's hard to get everything clean with carb spray, especially if you're not used to what to look for. But get an ultrasonic cleaner. I use 20% pine sol, 80% water, and I let them run for 20 minutes, and it works like a charm. So thanks for watching, and for all you new people, go ahead and subscribe. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.